newcomers, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for joining my Reborn doll channel, and if you're an old friend of ours, welcome back for another one of my videos. Today I'm just going to be chatting about things for new Reborn doll collectors to think about as I change little Miss Mya here. Clearly, I have taken to her a lot lately. She is the newest one to my collection. So I have been gravitating towards changing and cuddling and taking pictures with her more than any of my other babies, just because she is the newest. But something I was thinking about recently is beginner doll collectors, because I feel like I am almost somewhat at the end of the road with Reborn doll collecting, and maybe not even at the end of the road, but I'm at a place with my collection where I really and truly enjoy each and every doll in my collection. I don't feel like, oh, if an emergency happened, this one would be the one to sell, this one would be the one to go. I actually would be heartbroken to see any of them have to leave, honestly, and that's a really good feeling, because it is my first time feeling like I have keepers. This is my dream team, as Erica likes to put it. This is my dream team, and I'm really happy with all the babies in my collection. But I was just thinking about what it took to get to this point, and it made me think more about new Reborn doll collectors that are coming into the hobby. So I'm just going to chat about that and reminisce over everything it took to get to this point where I am finally 100% happy with all the babies in my collection. So I remember when I first started collecting Reborns, for one, after doing some research, I realized that these dolls are not cheap. And I initially found these dolls when I was in the process of shopping around for a pre-loved American Girl doll. Now, at the time, I was maybe like 18 or 19 years old, maybe. And having an American Girl doll was like the it thing. But of course, they were expensive. They were over $100. And yeah, so I wanted to find one pre-loved that was possibly in a better price bracket, and that is actually how I came across Reborn dolls. I'll never forget it. It was on eBay, and I was like, oh my god, somebody has a picture of a real baby on eBay for sale, and I just thought it was like a scam thing, like what the heck. And that's when I started learning about Reborns, that these were a form of dolls. And I was just instantly in love with it. Like, what? There are dolls out there that look like real babies? I have to see what this is about. And I quickly learned that these specially handcrafted dolls are quite expensive. So initially, when I bought dolls, the price range pretty much ruled my decision. I would look to see what price I was willing to pay, and then I'd see or settle on what the doll actually looked like. And I will say I shopped like that for quite a few years before I got to the point where I needed to, okay, if I planned on being 100% happy with the doll and not having a revolving door of dolls, then I needed to wait and hold out for what I really wanted. And for a while, I sold and purchased different dolls, And in the beginning, you don't know what you want. You don't know what you like. You just realize, oh my God, these dolls are so cool. Gotta have them. Until you start narrowing down what you actually like about a doll, being able to identify what you don't like about a doll, the size that you prefer, and different things like that. And I just want to tell everybody that if you're new to this hobby, it may take some buying and selling to figure that out, because you never really know what you like or want until you're able to see it and experience it in person. And that's okay, because I know a lot of people feel somewhat guilty for investing in a doll and only to realize a few months down the road, well, I realized that I like something else. This is my first go at this. I just want to see what it's all about, and then you kind of, get your feet. And it kind of sucks, especially if you're on a budget. But I do want to say that you shouldn't beat yourself up over it. It happens to all of us. But now on YouTube, there are so many videos. Instagram, there's so many pictures. So new collectors can save themselves the heartache and the time wasted from purchasing dolls that you don't know what you're going to like. Now there's a little bit more reference for you to go with. And you don't have to keep buying and selling dolls. Now it's one thing if your preferences change over time. But right off the bat, don't be so hasty to buy the first doll that you can afford just to get into the hobby. I know that's easier said than done, but really hold out for the one that's special, the one that you know is like your dream baby, and trust me, it is worth the wait. So when I finally realized that, okay, I like a certain kind of doll, I like a certain kind of size, I made up in my mind to start saving for what I wanted instead of just buying what I could afford right then and there because I had the money. So that is my little tip. We've all been there. I feel like it is a learning process, especially if you got into this hobby when Reborn dolls on social media and online wasn't really a big thing. Now I feel like there's a better resource for new collectors, and that's a good thing. So clearly Mya is not wanting to wear this head bow today. These are a little wide, so I try to tuck them in on her little head. And since she has painted hair, it makes her head a little bit more slick there. But we'll get it on. Right, Mya? Okay. I think that's as good as it's going to get for little Mya. Sorry, this light is all over the place, ruining the shot. But I feel like I have come a really long way with my doll collection. Now I shop for what I actually like. And if what I like isn't in my price range, I either find it in my price range or I just decide to save up for it. So that's the camp that I'm in now. In terms of impulse buys, there are really no impulse buys. I like to mull it over at least a day or two before I buy a doll. Especially now that most of mine have been customs. So there was no impulse buy with that. I definitely thought about that. But with Mya here, she came up on my feed on Instagram. And I will say I jumped at the chance to purchase her a lot quicker than I have in the past for previous dolls. But I got really lucky. She is just as sweet and beautiful as her photos, because you know sometimes you can get catfished online when it comes to Reborn dolls, but she is even more beautiful and impressive in person than she was on her photos. And I am very lucky, very blessed to have added her to my collection. I actually have been saving up money to purchase a new Reborn baby. Nothing in particular I had in mind, but you know, I was just kind of looking and seeing what I could see. But technically, my way of shopping has changed a lot over the years, and I'm pretty proud of how far I have come. I've parted with a lot of babies, but I also feel like they all went to wonderful Reborn mommies and collectors where those babies were their dream babies. So I feel good about that. I don't regret any of the dolls that I have sold. And right now I am very happy with my collection. Of course, there's always going to be another baby you want to add, but now I can shop a little bit more wiser, knowing that I have narrowed the field and I know exactly what I look for in a doll. Lately, when it comes to new Reborn babies, hair is like a big deal for me. It can be a make or break situation, because I have seen so many beautifully painted ethnic Reborn baby dolls where the skin tone is beautiful, creases and everything, but it is just lacking when it comes to the hair. It's like the hair is just an afterthought, and I feel like you can really bring down the value of your work if you do a rush job on hair, especially if it's painted hair. And dare I say that painted hair is even tougher than rooted hair? Because I kind of feel like if you have the patience enough to do rooted hair, it can be done well. But painted hair, you really have to have a steady hand for those hairs to really look realistic and flow well together. And I think it's tough. It looks pretty tough to me. And for purchasing a doll with painted hair, which the last 3 or 4 dolls that I adopted actually had painted hair, which was beautifully done, and Mya is one of those babies, it's a deal breaker for me. And I actually really like painted hair now. It really wasn't something I considered before, but now I really enjoy the painted hair because I don't have to worry about messing up their hair when I'm cuddling them, yet they still look so nice and realistic with hair. So yeah, painted hair or any type of hair, if you're going to do hair, make sure that it is well executed, because it can make or break a doll. And I am not opposed to completely bald babies either. If hair isn't your thing, sometimes I'd rather the baby just be bald and beautiful. I remember when I adopted Courtney, I saw her, she didn't have any hair at all, and I was worried about allowing the artist to do hair on her because I was afraid that the hair would make me fall out of love with how I already liked how she looked. But once she had her hair, I was smitten with her. Matter of fact, let me grab Courtney. I'll just mosey on over here and grab her really quickly so you guys can see. But this is baby Courtney and her beautiful head of hair. She has straight black mohair, and she was made by Kat Johnson's Creations. But yeah, like, hair is a big deal for me. And if it's not done well, I'd rather the baby just be bald. So when I'm shopping for a new doll, that is one thing that I tend to check out first. I can easily fall in love with a face, but if the hair is not up to par, I will pass. Another thing, which isn't necessarily a nod to the Reborn artist, but more so to the sculptor. If the hands are a certain kind of way, I will pass a sculpt up. I don't usually like fingers that are open too wide. For whatever reason, I just don't care for that. Legs, I'm pretty okay with. I really like the little froggy legs, curled up feet. I don't care too much for legs that are super straight out, like with Saskia. Don't care for that too much. So now I have somewhat of a criteria from when I'm buying dolls, and if they don't meet those criteria, I have to just say bye-bye to it. Like, I have to pass it up. And like I said, if one doll gets away, there's always another one to fall in love with. So I try not to get too hung up on it right away. But yeah, so that's kind of like my criteria now over the years that I have, you know, kind of narrow the field down to shopping. And it's not going to come overnight, especially if you're a new collector. You're just figuring out Reborns exist. You haven't even seen all the different variations of Reborns there are for you to figure out what you actually like. So I wouldn't beat yourself up over it. However, the one tip I will give that I feel like you should take right off the bat is to not settle. Don't just settle for the first doll that you can afford, the first $100 that you save up. Save up. Like, save up your money so you can get a really nice quality doll that is to your liking, that you know you will be happy with. Like, I feel like people's first impression of the Reborn hobby may not be the best because they hurry up and try to buy the first thing that they can afford instead of saving up. And lately, a lot of people have been getting scammed with all these crazy promises of dolls with stolen photos, and they're just getting scammed instead of saving up your money, directly working with an artist to adopt a doll or a trusted Reborn doll collector in the community, instead of getting on these crazy websites buying whatever at $50 price range, which is unheard of. These kits are way more than $50. So that's my little tip. That's all I wanted to share today. I just really wanted to come on and chat with you guys and share a little Miss Mya with you all. And that is about it. I hope you all are having a good day whenever you watch this, day or night. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!